Quick to main menu. Let's go back in and let's do a rapid transit. Let's do a scenario. We don't have children or elderly people as NPCs. No, we're getting characters working is something that we're still as a company developing and creating, and the easiest thing to do is sort of a same set of characters, because then you can focus on one skeletal interior, the bone structure for them, get those working the way we want, and then we can start creating new skeletons and so forth later on. So it's about building up slowly, really. Do one thing and get it working well, then do other things. Yeah, I like the CSX colours. Well, the blue colour scheme works well, actually. Right, okay, so, Moricom, you're having a problem with the tutorial. Let's just run the tutorial. You're assuming as DLC comes out, the TSCW team will grow. I don't know, but there'll be less to do. So the core engineering team, once they've done a job, obviously they don't need to do it again. And you start the beginning of the project or something like this with everything to do. Now, even as it stands at the moment, we've got huge amounts done, which means now, for example, in theory, I think for the next route, the engineering team are, for the first time, not on the critical path. So they're not actually delivering stuff that the route team can't even build a route until that stuff's done, like overhead electrics and so forth needed. So we've got everything we need. So
This is a 3-car variant delivered to the S-Bahn Mitteldeutschland network in 2013. During this brief introduction, we will cover how
someone was claiming there was some in the game. Not really, no.
And then how to bring the unit to a stop. To start with, climb aboard via the cab door and sit in the driver's
It'll take a while before it takes over from TS1, but I think it'll hit a critical mass at some point. It took 2 or 3 years before Railworks took over from MSTS en masse. It's about getting lots of content, and I think content will be the main driver for it, but in the meantime, lots of features will go in as well. Moricom, right, what was the problem that you had? Was it just once you got going?
During normal operation, this unit draws electricity from the overhead catenary via a pantograph. However, since the pantograph is currently in the down position, we have to power the initial systems by priming the auxiliary battery. With power available, use the master key to unlock the control desk. Now activate the pantograph so that it raises up and makes contact with the overhead catenary.
Yes, wind turbines react to the amount of wind, same as they do on Sandpatch Grade.
Set the exterior lights for normal operation. Set the reverser to full. Sound the horn to warn anyone around. This unit has 2 braking systems, an indirect brake and a blended brake that is part of. Set the. Move the power brake handle as required. Great work. The unit is now moving.
Yep, the trees move in the wind as well. Yeah, the presets usually have the wind set to 0. It's up to you to turn the wind up.
Set the power brake handle back to the neutral position.
So I take it you never got asked to do that then, Moricom? What speed did you get up? Did it get up to... Because I think it's about sort of 10, 11 kilometers an hour it changes. It says that.
Bring the train to a halt. To do this, move the power brake handle as required. Now that the unit has stopped, press the park brake on.
Chippy.
Well done. That concludes this brief articulated electric multiple unit. A manual is also included.
How's Squirrel been getting on with it, Dan? I've not been able to see any of what he's been doing. Well, there you go, Moricon. It works. So I guess compare that to what you're doing and see whether or not. Let me know where it's different for you. Right, scenario. Let's do a scenario. Let's do Crosstown. Yeah, let's do Crosstown. I'm crazy, Dan. You mean Tempomat? He never left the station. Oh! Oh, hello. Pressing all the buttons that I don't want to press. Let's change the cab lights, put on dimmed beam. That in forwards, and obviously we want not that one, that one, and that one. Good, all good to go. Where is IL62 Fab Diva? I've seen you mention that a couple of times. Is it a road or something? Oh, we'll get there when we get there. Change your chap. These are, I think, the Bombardier Talent 2s, the class. So like the BR442. There's one of these in TS1, although it's a 2442, not a 1442. A Soviet airliner in the middle of the Triangle Junction. Oh, right, okay. Probably not. But we'll have a look. You mean there, then? Train structure, yes. BR442 is a German unit. This is S-Bahn Mitteldeutschland, which is actually current times is actually run by Deutschbahn again. It's track IR support going to come at some point. At some point, I definitely want to get it in there, but there's more important things that I want to get in that I think everyone would like to see. Yeah, we sent somebody to. He spent, I think, a week out in running up and down the route. Not running, but riding up and down the route, doing photo surveys at every station. There isn't a services timetable available yet, Chippy, but as I just showed at the very beginning of the stream, I have actually produced it now, at least the data for it. So it's now down to I've emailed it to Steve, and it now needs testing, checking, and then he needs to format it up. So hopefully it won't be long. Probably next week sometime if he gets a chance. Yeah, this is a loud hailer. It's just going to pick it up, and I don't know exactly, but yeah, it is just a megaphone. How long is there? It's about 70 kilometers, Andrew. Can you use the megaphone? No, you can't use the megaphone. Tour deck, I don't know what you mean. Do you mean... Well, let me just check this. See if this train is here. This plane, sorry. Doesn't look like it. Don't have anything to report on multiplayer at the moment, I'm afraid. Make sure you're on the official channels though, so that when there is something to report, you'll get the news. A full-length service takes about an hour and a half, P-Slick. The red button besides the battery on the switch. Oh, let me have a look then. Oh, that should have a T at the end, should it? Oh, hello. I'm sitting here staring at the screen, wondering what I'm supposed to be doing here. To full throttle, yeah. Thrash it into the tunnel. Hey, Kulo Wing. No, you're not supposed to depart at full speed, full throttle, not at all. But someone asked me to do that, so I do my best to fulfill requests. I love that reading light. I think the way that it lights up the cab desk there is spectacular. Have I moved my chat to a different screen? How do you mean? We weren't able to find a 6-car service yet. There are 6-car services. Oh god, what was the one I was just testing the other night? In fact, on the previous stream last night, I did a 6-car service. 2115 from Gashwitz. Wait for the T indicator to come back. Traction locks off. You're enjoying it, Mark. Excellent. Glad you're enjoying it. Oh, that's a good shout, Dave. I'll go in and get it in a minute. Let me finish this scenario. At the end of this scenario, Dave, can you harass me to go and get it? It's just in the other room. I pinned it up. Lovely as it goes into there. Look at that. Amazing. It's right to see if the doors have locked. Yeah, it's the T light on the desk here. It's this T light. Let me stop the train. So if I now unlock the doors, you'll see if you look at the T light in the top left in this corner here. And the T light's out, so the doors are open. You'll also notice while the T light's out, you get these pink kilonewton icons, which means that the traction lockout is enabled. So there's multiple causes of traction lockout, and the doors being open obviously is one of them. So I can apply the throttle now and it will do absolutely nothing. It won't even release the brakes. If I close the doors, and you'll wait for the T light to come back on. Good night, Emma. Doors are closed. T light, pink lights icons are gone. We're good to go. I love this station, all the wooden architecture of it. You bought it before the sale ended, right car? Good, you saved 40%. Next signal is grey because I've got next signal indication turned off. If you go into the settings, there's one down here. You can turn on the next signal aspect and next signal. If you turn off, you can turn on this next signal HUD, which means that you'd see how far it is away, but you can turn off the aspect so that you don't get cheat information, essentially, because as a driver you know where the next signal is, but you wouldn't know what the aspect is. So it's kind of like the TS1 style thing. Right, let's get going. Mark, the AWS on the class 166, it's one end of the 166 the way the AWS isn't working, the other end is fine. So westbound services, the AWS is fine, the eastbound services it isn't, essentially. DK Designer, you had no plans on getting CSX, but when you saw Rapid Transit you bought CSX and pre-bought Rapid Transit. How are you finding it now you've got it, DK? Is it living up to your expectations? Because that's what really matters. It's just the tunnels, ES64. There's something about... Because what it is that in here, it doesn't use standard overhead wiring. You'll notice that's a bar. I'll show it in a minute. It's not actually overhead wiring. So overhead wires have got a collision on them, which means that the pantograph can bounce up and down in it accordingly. Whereas... under here, the bar doesn't seem to, so it just springs up. Is it possible to make a route without visiting it? Yeah, absolutely. It's much more difficult. But you'll notice that's actually a bar rather than being a... Oh, hang on. It's working. Pantograph's working. Is it the other way around then it doesn't work? Maybe. It doesn't seem to have pantograph up at all. But that's possibly because of the... Okay, maybe it's just one way through the tunnels then. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realise that. Yes, it is meant to be a bar, Ben. It is. If you go and have a look at pictures, you'll see it's a bar. I asked the same question. When I saw it, I said to the creative team, why aren't these wires? They said, because they're not supposed to be wires. One side is working, one side is not. Ah, okay, yeah, 64. Would DTG ever build a route without visiting it? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember if we have ever done that. We might have done. It depends if we can get enough photo reference for it. Sometimes some of these routes have actually got a ton of reference already available for them, and so it's actually less important. Or if we know someone actually who can go and get reference for us. But we'd certainly rather not. I suspect it's related to the fact that there's no collision on there. They're supposed to drive with it. AI will raise the pantograph. In fact, AI does a full engine start something sequence. CSX should have seen some improvements as well, Roadcar. There's a lot of improvements have been made, so Great Western's improved performance as well. So you should see improvements across the board. Not 100% because the nature of CSX is different because it's long trains. So Great Western will feel some of the performance benefits a lot more. But I imagine CSX will be seeing more performance improvements as well as we go. A lot of the performance improvements are sort of across the core of the system, so everything should benefit. What are the collectibles in Rapid Transit? There's a grit shovel, a red one. There's maps that you can place, and there's cracks in the ground, and if you walk over them you can place a hazard cone on them. Oh, speak of it actually, this is a 6-car service I'm driving right... Oh, it's a scenario, not a service. I was just thinking, hang on, this is a 6-car train. Are German safety systems similar to AWS? No, they're a bit more complicated than AWS. AWS is really quite straightforward. There's not a lot to it. There's the grit shovel. Is there a map? There's the map. Walk up to it and it places the map. I think, is it down there? Yeah, down there. There's a crack, and if you walk up to that crack, then it will put a hazard cone on it. No, there isn't a PZB tutorial. It is covered in the manual, but essentially to turn it on, it's that switch there, and then that switch. So this is PZB enable, and that's C for enable. Brief description of the safety system. So you've got PZB and you've got CIFA. Oh, hang on, I put the throttle on too early. Better. No cars. I'm assuming you mean the European version of the word cars, as in things on the road. The reason for that is that they're just not very efficient. and really it's about getting a better system for cars in at some point. Yeah, you've got CIFA, which is basically like an alerter DSD, like in the UK trains, or the alerter in American trains. So it just goes off every now and again. What you'll find is that down here it'll just pop up a little white icon that says CIFA, or if I'm like this, it's just a white icon that says CIFA. Or you'll see the alerter icon down here. And PZB is a much more complicated signalling system. Three kilometers to Leipzig Messe. That's actually a pretty decent short description here, 64. But yeah, there's a lot more to it, but that's a good idea. That was a CIFA alarm, so CIFA will give you two chances to answer it. One's a visual alert and one is an audible alert. TSO manuals are on Steam, in the usual place for manuals on Steam. It's continuously variable, Ed. It just shows a notch on the... we originally had this showing the percentage. You'll notice up here that it's got percentage on it. But so we changed it down here just to effectively show the 10th. Because otherwise it was filling up too much space and it looked ugly. But it is fully... both sides are fully dynamic. There'll be a timetable coming soon, Night Owl. That's one of the reasons I was late home tonight, is because I wanted to make sure that they had that so they could get it all prettied up at some point when they've got time. Hopefully it will be next week, but no promises. The Blue 85 tells me PZB is on and it's in PZB-O mode. This train only actually implements O mode, doesn't run on any other modes. They're for freight trains generally. But if you notice, it matches the 85 on here, so this is effectively the HUD implementation of the PZB. Really, they don't seem that bad to me. I've been out of stop from 100 kilometers an hour pretty quickly. Right, where are we going now? Wreckfest, Leipzig. Yeah, there's three modes. Ober, Mittel and Unter. O, M and U. So if I was running in Unter at the moment, then this one would be lit up on the right hand side. Like I said, the talent actually, when you're on the real thing, when you go into the setup screen for PZB, on the left panel there, you can't actually put it into PZB O or M or U. It'll only let you put it in PZB O. 4.4 kilometers. It's alright, it's certainly not possible according to the manual that we've got for this one. I mean, the screen is literally, there is no way of entering it. the relevant fields are hard coded. Anything I want to miss seeing that scenario, Ralph fan? I don't know. A good challenge using the 87, taking in mind stopping and all sorts of things. Gilmere, thank you for the sub. 7th month. Wow. Thank you for the fun. Hope your cold goes away. You know what? My cold never goes away. It just basically goes up and down. But thank you very, very much for the support, Gilmere. Very much appreciated. I don't know where that rumour's come from, Amada. There's certainly nothing been announced anywhere. Officially or unofficially. I think it might be wishful thinking. Northern Alex, thank you for the host. I didn't just do that, did I? Twit. That didn't really happen. Everyone pretend that didn't really happen. I quite like these little steps as well. No, I haven't done the card yet, Dave. I'm going to be doing that after I finish this scenario. Don't know how much longer we've got, but we're on our way to Jortal. So a quick look. What does it say? If you can still see it at the top. Bitterfeld is where we're going to. Yeah, aware of that bug, DK. It's been seen today. So I already had the team looking at it. I know they do Fab Diva, but that's a lot harder to implement like that. This is meant to give the effect of it rather than be a 100% replication. Oh look, the seats are moving. Ugh. That's bizarre. Yeah, we've had a number of reports of the seats moving around it, and it's really bizarre. But I passed it on to the team, so they can look at it tomorrow. Lidcatcher, you've been enjoying it tonight? Excellent. Right. Why does the next signal show up as grey aspect? Because I've got it turned off. There's a setting which lets you see or not see the aspect of the next signal. Effectively like this, it's a bit like TS1 where you can see where the next signal is, but you can't necessarily, you can't see what the aspect of it is. The manual DK Designer is on Steam. I don't know anything about the Talent 3, Q Lightwing. Come on, brakes. Just waiting for the doors to shut. Oh, the Talent 3 can do 200 kilometers an hour. So that'll have LZB then, which this one doesn't have. Is there a service timetable available, bus driver? There isn't yet, but there is going to be some soon. I've given Steve literally tonight. It's the reason, one of the reasons the stream is late. I've given Steve the information he needs. Is a steam locomotive ruled out for TSW? Not at all. There's just no plans at the moment. But no, I definitely want a steam loco in the game. Yeah, imagine how good it would be. What's the plan for tonight? There really isn't one 4072. I'm just going to basically run rapid transit. Oh, the other thing you should notice if you play CSX Heavy Haul is that horrible thing where it flashed the environment lighting every now and again. It's all fixed. Yeah, the shaking stuff is on our list of things to do, Q Lightwing. We've tried it a couple of times and it just looked rubbish, so we took it out. Oh, Rocky Mountaineer, yes, that would be good. That would absolutely be good. Right, where are we? Dulwich. No, there isn't a timetable published yet, DK. I literally just gave Steve the asset for it. What's the cause of what? Ed? Suppose you need me to open the doors, don't you, Train? Wackaday, 14th month, says Merry Christmas, Matt. Thanks for the new DLC. You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. If you have good feedback, positive and or negative, please make sure you send it to Dovetail so that they can collate it together and understand what people are thinking about it. The flashing on CSX. So you have a time of day thing, which creates all the environment lighting, essentially, in the skies and so forth. And somehow there was two. Don't ask me how. And they were just updating out of sync with each other, essentially. .5 Peters Road. I think, isn't it Bitterfeld pretty shortly after? Doomsday, you like the size of the route? Yeah, it's 70 kilometres is a decent ride. And given that this is a commuter line, you're stopping everywhere, which means that it's a good hour and a half, I think, to ride it from end to end. 6 kilometres now, and as you get out of the tunnel, it's like it gets longer and longer and longer between each station. We're up to 6-7 kilometres now. .124. Do I have the 160? I have no idea what achievements I've got, to be honest. Go on, because I've got some of them during dev on different machines, and I've no idea what's on this machine. Three and a half kilometres. Sent an email to Lewis Moggy. Excellent. The voice alert. The voice alert isn't used on trains like this, because if the passengers can hear it, having emergency brake being heard is upsetting for them, whereas hearing it go beep apparently is less upsetting. So locos generally, not always, have the voice alarms. Multiple units like this generally have the tone alarms. It's not hard and fast rule, but that's why the difference. That's what I'm told, anyway. You don't think that's true? Okay, it was a DB driver that told me it. So it might only be true in his particular area, maybe. In fact, it was a DB Talent driver that told me it. Right, open the doors. Oh, there's always routes in development and loco. Also, there's plenty in development, Ben. The team never get to take a break. Every time they think they're going to take a break, I tell them, right, make something else! I'm slightly crazed. What can you do with the displays where you've got night mode? There's nothing else you can really do on this one. This one's got a couple of options for brake statuses, so if I apply the brakes... Or is it air? There you go, you can see the brake bars appearing. That's the status across the multiple units. You've got this, which is... I can't remember it. This is more brake settings where the brakes are applied on various bogies. So you've got the 4 bogies and then which one's got brakes. The ones that are greyed out are not power bogies. Well, sorry, those are the power bogies. It's the other ones that have got the brakes. Then you've got 4. So this is the units that you've got on your two cars. I think that's it. I might be wrong. Something like that, anyway. Let him have a break. Ooh, what? And what? We're having a laugh. I want more. I want more. I guess I probably should have paid attention to that signal, shouldn't I, really? Spad, it's a signal passed at danger. At least make him a cup of tea. Well, maybe. Autopilot, well, you've got temper mat, so that'll now maintain speed. Won't do that for me, but it's dropping itself down to 70 kilometers an hour at the moment. So it's like AFB. They're not the same. AFB and Tampermat are not the same, but they're very, very similar. I can't remember the exact devil in the detail that makes them different. But yeah, they are... it's very similar. Oh, piece of B. Let's click off the Tampermat. Below 65, so we're okay for 500 hertz when it comes up. AFB is linked to the signalling for LZB. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think AFB may also apply air brakes as well, whereas Tempermat definitely only applies the e-brakes. I think AFB can stop the train. Tempermat can't. I mean, Tempermat is in the purest sense just cruise control. It's what Tempermat stands for, it means in German. He says, forgetting which side the passengers are on. They're on the left side. Was this Bitterfeld? Then it must be if we've got a red light. Do you mean in reality, BRCW? P2B is very, very good system. Will there be next station announcements? There's nothing announced on that. It's something I'd like to see in there, but I can't promise anything. Do we get any reds or all greens? Oh, all greens! Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Kevin.